Welcome everyone. This is Ellis Owens. You also might know me by my gamer tag, Clark Kent 434. That was also my call sign given to me in the Air Force. And today I'm going to be bringing my very first weapons attachment guide. And this one was inspired by a question that was often asked by me. Why does shotguns have such a large range? I have been asked this question many a times, and many people seem to sometimes struggle and understand why they would get hit from such a large distance by individuals or by people that that you would think that would not be able to hit you, but they do, and using shotguns. And I mean, I cannot disagree with that. And I mean, it's frustrating. It's very, very frustrating. You're fighting, you're playing along, and the next minute you know, bam, you get shot by someone with a shotgun. And so I thought, what better idea is, do my first weapons attachment guide, because I do get a lot of questions now, more and more. What's a good attachment? What attachment should I run on my gun? Should I run this? What does this do? What does that do? And there I get all these questions all the time. So now I'm sitting there thinking, it's probably a good thing that I start, working on attachments as I'm starting to work on breakdowns on different guns. And so I think this one, I felt compelled this week to do this one more than ever. I was spending a lot of time working on unlocking the last of my shotguns. I had one or two left, and I thought, I'm going to try some of the different shells and stuff, and let me test them out. The slugs, the darts, are also known as Fletch rounds, and see which one favors. Does one favor another? Does the pellets do better at longer range? Does darts do good? Darts used to be more of an armor-piercing shells in Battlefield 3. They were known to be kind of an armor-piercing shell. Also do a little bit damage against light armor or lighter vehicles, kind of like dirt bikes and jeeps. But they were also extremely effective against infantry. They were basically mini sabot rounds, as we see a lot of sabot rounds now in Battlefield 4. And so, when people were very curious, slugs were extremely popular in Battlefield 3. Slugs have made a return. Now they're kind of different. They're not as useful in Battlefield 4 as they are in 3. So I thought, without further ado, let's do a breakdown. So first, I'm going to break down that the types of shells. We have 4 different shells. We have buckshot, we have fletchlet, also commonly known as dart. You're going to see it called as dart. It used to be called fletchlet, I think, in Battlefield 3, but it is actually dart. And then you have slug, and then last you have frag. Those are the 4 shells. Now the shells come. The damage models are based on whether you're using a pump shotgun or semi-automatic. Excuse me. And those are the 2 big things that you need to know. And so, depending on what gun you're using, it will change the damage model. Now, realizing that when I give these numbers and stuff, that this is based on per pellet. So the more the pellets you have, that means more times its damage model. Now, not all guns will fall into this. There's certain pump shotguns that have more of a damage model of a semi-automatic, and they kind of over some of another, some of a semi-automatic of a pump, and vice versa. And they have their strengths and weaknesses, so you need to know that. All my stats I got them from SimTick. They're a great place. They always collect game stats right from the code. They pull it right from their codes, right from the game data files. And I will have links to this down below in the description, so you guys can go there, look at it, and determine what is the best, shell should I use. And I'm going to also give you some recommendations for some shotguns. I'm probably going to do some review of some shotguns. I'm not sure which ones. There's a few of them I really like. You see me use the UTS 15 in some of this early gameplay, and then I'll switch off to the M1014. The 1014 I think is one of the best all-around shotguns. It's just got the one of the best stats. I love the UTS 15. It's one of the second to last shotguns to unlock. I think it's like the shotgun that's most prevalent in the campaign, and that's where I fell in love with it, was when I was going through the campaign. It's high accuracy, it's low rate of fire, but the accuracy is just what makes it so great, and it's got a lot of ammunition to back it up. But I'm going to give you just some recommendations and what to work with. But anyways, let's get into the shells. I want to feature first on semi-automatic. Now, the semi-automatic for buckshot, the damage model is 18 to 6. 18 being the max, 6 being the minimum. The drop-off starts at 60 meters, ends at 30. Gravity is a 9.81 meters squared. Suppression is about 7 to 30. So, damage 18 to 6. It's not that bad. That's pretty good damage. 6 is not too horrible. If you have at least a gun with 9 pellets or something, then the minimum damage, that's at least 72 on minimum side. Drop off is 30 meters, so it's definitely close range. 9 meters squared for gravity drop off. That's very good for the drop off. That's very accurate. So buckshot, that's for semi-automatic, very good. Fletchlet on semi-automatic is 12 maximum damage, 8 minimum. Drops off starts at 20 and they end off at 50 meters. Gravity is 9.8 meters squared. Suppression is 20 to 30. So your maximum damage is 12.5. It's a little less than buckshot, but you have a higher minimum damage of 8.4. You also have a longer drop off. So you have a higher suppression rate, so you're more likely to do more suppressing damage. Since you do have a higher maximum damage, it does favor, and you have a lower drop off, it does favor that medium range. Anything beyond 20 meters. Now the 12.5 meters is still great. If you have a shotgun with at least 9 pellets or more, you're guaranteed, even if someone has a defensive perk, basically one-shot kill them. So fletchlet rounds still are amazing. Honestly, my testing, fletchlet rounds seem to be the best in the game. Why? Because they do, and this is just on semi-automatic. 12.5, that's brutally awesome. And most guns do have at least 9 pellets, and the drop off doesn't start till 20. It goes out to 50 meters. That's easily easily assault rifle to carbine and LMG. That's their ranges and stuff. You have a very low gravity drop off and very high suppression. I found a lot of times 1, maybe even 2 shots to kill a guy, and was using fletchlets. And because of the low gravity drop and the good damage, the minimum damage is 8.4. And like I said, if you have at least 9, minimum damage is almost 80. So that's guaranteed 2 shots, even at longer distances. So it just depends on the spread of the shotgun. And we're looking at semi-automatics. So yeah, so it's really, really good. Fletchlet round, I'm surprised in this game, is probably better than buckshot. It's just my experience. Granted, buckshot's got a little bit more damage up close, but Fletcher's rounds, the damage is just it outweighs it at the longer ranges. It really does. I got a lot of one-shot kills up close. and that's only because I was using shotguns that at least had more than 9 pellets of at least fletchlets going out, so that was guaranteed a one-shot kill. So you want to look for that, and obviously, guys, the stats are down below. So going on to semi-automatic slugs, they do 75 to 38 in damage. Drop off is 12 to 50. Gravity is 12.5 meters square. Suppression is 6 to 12. Obviously, on semi-automatic, 75 damage. Definitely not going to be a one-shot kill with slugs. It's definitely a two-shot kill. Remember, this is semi-automatic. Minimum damage goes down to 38. That is going to be a 3-shot kill. To kill people if you're running defensive, drops off 12 to 50. Yeah, you know, it's kind of in between buckshot and fletchlet. The gravity drop off is a little bit higher. You know, suppression is it's pretty on the light side. Be honest, I'm surprised, but the slugs in this game got heavily nerfed. I really am. They're probably one of the worst. If you look at them, they are not the greatest. I mean, it's basically a 2-shot kill, period. And I just don't really like them. I think they're not that great. Most people will be surprised. And remember, this is on semi-automatic. So now going on semi-automatic frag rounds, you got 20 max damage, 5 minimum. The drop-off starts at 8 and ends at 40. So it starts even closer. The drop-off starts closer than buckshot. Splash damage is 25. Splash damage drops off at the splash damage starts at 2 meters and ends at 2.5 meters. So it's got a roughly around a 2.5 meter radius, you know. So the gravity on the frag rounds are 15 meters squared. Suppression is 6 to 16. So it's still like slugs. It's got a very small splash damage radius. 25 is not bad. I mean, you look at the 25 and you add it maybe to, you know, the 25 already. The minimum damage, I mean, that would make it 30. But, I mean, it's splash damage. So you almost want to make sure you do direct contact if you're going to hit those slugs. I had a hard time with frag rounds on semi-automatic. They seemed really sporadic. I was shooting guys, they were exploding, and they just weren't killing them, and they were hitting direct on contact. I knew that they should have killed them, but, you know, I don't know what was going on. Something was going on. I just didn't know what was going on. So maybe better luck next time. Be honest, I think frag rounds need something better, maybe a little bit wider radius than 2.5, or maybe even the splash damage, instead of being 25, maybe it needs to go up to 30. I mean, the minimum goes all the way down to 5. I mean, max is 20, but still then it's, I mean, if you add the splash plus the max damage of 20, that's only 45. That's, you know, you're looking, you know, around a 3-shot kill. So it's still not the greatest, and that's if you hit them directly on contact. So it's not real great. Frag rounds are really, they're not the greatest. I don't see too many people run them. So without ado, that's the semi-automatic guns, the semi-automatic shotguns that are in the game, and those are the damage models. So now we're going to get off to slugs, or not to slugs, but pump action shotguns, and they're a little bit different. You're going to see a little bit change in pump action shotguns. So let's go on and let's go ahead and dive on into pump action shotguns right away. Pump action buckshot is damage is 15.4 to 5.2. Drop off is 16 to 30, just like semi-automatics. Gravity is 9.8. Suppression is 7 to 30. So looking at that, the damage is a little bit less. It's 15.4 to 5.2 on pump action for buckshot. So buckshot right there for pump is a little bit lower. I mean, buckshot for semi-automatic starts at 18. and buckshot for pump, it starts at 15. And the minimum for pump is 5.2. The minimum for semi-automatic buckshot is 6. So you do lose some damage there. You do see a little bit reduction damage. Everything else stat-wise is the same. So buckshot and pump is not good. Yeah, it's not really that good. So let's go to fletchlet pump. Damage on that is 11.2. Pump damage minimum is 7.4. Drop off is 20 to 50, from 20 meters down to 50. Gravity or bullet drop is 9.81 meters squared. Suppression is 7 to 30. So looking at that and comparing it to semi-automatic fletchlet, or also known as dart, the damage is also reduced. Dart on semi-automatic is 12.5 to 8.4, and dart on pump is 11 to 7. So you're looking at basically a point different, 1.5 maximum damage difference and a 1 point minimum damage difference. So yeah, so both the damages are down on buckshot and dart on pump. So pump action shotguns. So let's continue on. On slugs on pump action, the damage is 100 to 38. Drop off is 12 to 50. Gravity is 12 meters squared. Suppression is 6 to 16, and that's it. So you're looking at the damage. The damage definitely difference. It's at 100 compared to semi-automatic, which is 75. So you're looking at a definite increase on pump action slug. It's at a full 100, which if the person's not running body armor perk, it's definitely a one-shot kill up close, as long as you're within 12 meters. So it's definitely worth running slugs on pump action shotguns. So that's something to take in consideration. So let's look at frags on pump action shotguns. So the damage on them is 37.5 to 10. Drop off is 8 to 40. Splash damage is 25. Splash damage drop starts at 2 meters. Splash damage drop ends at 2.5. Gravity is 15.52, and suppression is 616. So the splash damage is the same. The start of the splash damage, where it starts to end, is at 2 meters, and the drop ends at 2.5. So it still has the same radius. It still has the same drop, but it's the damage on the explosive rounds, the frag rounds on the pump action, is 37.5 down to 10. The frag rounds on a semi-automatic are 20 to 5. So you're looking at what? Maximum damage is 17.5 more damage, and the minimum is double. I mean, it goes from 5 to 10 on the pump action on frag rounds. Definitely worth it. So if you're looking at this and you're wondering what I should run, semi-automatics favor better in buckshot and fletch, and pump action favors better in slugs and frag rounds. So it's just the way it is. They just come out. I mean, frag rounds on pump action are almost up close as like a 2-shot kill, definitely. So, and definitely on a slug. So I'm not saying that's for every shotgun. There is some pump action shotguns that have kind of a mixture of both pump and the semi-automatic. They have the benefits of the semi-automatic buckshot and fletch damage models, and the pump action slug and frag damage models. So they're actually the best of both worlds. So yeah, they're and that's actually the M1014. It actually takes the best of both damage models. So but obviously now you know what the damage models are. I mean, it's clear that, you know, semi-automatics favors buckshots and fletch. They're more of an up close to semi-automatics, and the pumps are more longer, more explosives and slugs. So I mean, it's kind of interesting how DICE balanced. You know, one type of shotgun should be better at, you know, explosives and slugs, and another, a semi-automatic, should be better at, you know, a long-range shell or a buckshot shell. So I mean, it's very different. I mean, Pumps are typically less recoil, higher accuracy. The semi-automatic shotguns, from my understanding and my feeling, they do typically have they can have a little bit longer reload, depending, because you got to reload. You're like reloading the full clip. I mean, you don't always have to do that with a pump. You can just top off with 1 or 2 shells. But I mean, you're reloading the full clip with a pump. With a semi-automatic, also you got to consider with a semi-automatic, they typically have a little bit higher recoil numbers. That's what they favor. They're just how they are. The semi-automatics, they're a little bit different, and that's just the way that they are. I mean, there's no way around it, because the longer recoils and the different patterns of having higher numbers. But that's the way they balance stuff. I mean, and that's all what dice does. So they might not always be the fastest. I mean, you can spam a trigger a little bit better with the semi-automatics, but the pumps are a little bit quicker, so they kind of balance each other out. So I mean, it's really up to what you guys want to do. So shotguns, what I would recommend. It's really hard. Most of the shotguns are really, really good. I gotta say that. Pellet wise, the highest pellet is going to be the Hawk. It comes out with 14. It's going to be a beast. 14 pellets it's just monstrous. If you really want something with a lot of pellets, that's the way to go. Speed wise, if you're looking for a shotgun with speed and want to work with speed and really want to put out a lot of those shells, look at the QB09. I was testing it with the buckshot, and I felt that it was very, very strong with the buckshot, the QB09, and that was my personal opinion. I mean, that's just the way it goes. Semi-automatic wise, the strongest one I think is probably the DBV12. Because it does have a lot of recoil. It's got 9 pellets, so it's good. And but it takes it's got a long recoil. It's got a lot of recoil, but it's got a long reload. But I mean, you got to work with that. The M1014 I think is probably one of the best all around. It's got high rate of fire. It's got a good recoil. It's got a good amount of ammo. Meaning it with the 8 in the clip. I mean, it might not be the best one, but it's got 8 in the clip. The Spaz is not so bad. It carries 1 more in the clip. It does suffer in rate of fire, but that's something to just to look at. And what you got to look down the road with the Spaz. But they're all pretty much really good shotguns. The Spaz and UTS have really nice tight spreads, so they're really good spread wise. The UTS is better on the hip, and as opposed to the Spaz is aimed down sight accuracy. But they're both of those shotguns right there. They are slower firing, so you got to look at that right away. The 870, there's not actually a lot of stats on that one. For some reason, Syntec doesn't have much on that one. I'm not sure really why. That and the Sega. Maybe later on a later date they'll update. But I mean, I hope this benefits you guys. I mean, honestly, in my best opinion, I think Fletchlet's going to be one of the best rounds. I think Buckshot is good, especially if you put a modified choke on it, which tightens up your spread. Obviously, do not run a choke on a slug. I feel like a choke also interferes maybe with frag rounds as well. That's my personal testing. I have no hard evidence, and I haven't found anyone else that has concluded that. But I feel like that it does, because it changes the crosshairs and to the same crosshairs that our slugs are. So I think that the slug and frags might be interfered with the modified choke. But you guys will just have to, honestly, you can tell me what you guys think. But like I said, I think the Fletchlets are probably the best because of their good damage models over range. They have better minimum, and then that's just the way it is. Going back to the question, what people were wondering why they can get hit. Well, that's just because, when someone fires a shotgun, that minimum damage is, like 6. We're looking at buckshot. So when, you get shot by it, you're going to get hit. And when you do get hit, it's going to be based on the pellets and on the spread of the bullets. So if someone shoots a gun with 9 pellets and only 5 hits, and the damage is 6, well, 5 times 6, that's 30. You're only going to take 30 damage, even though the other 3 pellets might have missed. So, the shotguns are going to have a longer range. They could hit you at a longer range, but it might not be as effective. That's why I recommend fletch rounds or dart, because they have a better spread overall, and they work with the shotguns a lot better. They have a higher minimum damage, so you're better off hitting a target, and they have a less of a bullet drop, so you're not going to notice it as much as like a slug or like as bad as a frag. Frag rounds are just horrible. So that's going back to the question. So I hope that answers everything. I hope you guys enjoy this. I'm hoping to have more. I know this was kind of long, but there was a lot to cover and go about. I hope you guys really do enjoy this. If you guys would like and favorite, tell me in the comments what you want to see for the next episode. I greatly appreciate it. More stuff is coming out. And subscribe if you haven't. And reshare this to all your friends. And I will catch everyone later on. And I hope you guys have a safe holiday. Bye.